Good morning, friends. Ash here, WAT News, with some election and news updates. It's December the 15th, 2020. I saw this breaking report come out last night, and I decided to just wait till today to report it because I don't want to do another video last night. So anyway, friends, breaking report out of Gateway SolarWinds HQ raided in Austin, Texas. More news coming on CEO and Executive Vice President. Update by Jim Hoft out of Gateway Pundit. Last night, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, issued a rare emergency directive 2101 in response to a known compromise involving SolarWinds Orion products. This was only the fifth emergency directive issued by CISA under the authorities granted by Congress in the Cybersecurity Act of 2015. CISA reported a breach of the SolarWinds Orion products. This emergency directive called on all federal civilian agencies to review their networks for indicators of compromise and disconnect or power down SolarWinds Orion products immediately. And we saw who uses SolarWinds. Dominion Software. It's right on their website. This afternoon, a guest on Hannity told the popular conservative host the FBI, U.S. Marshals, and Texas Rangers were raiding SolarWinds headquarters in Austin, Texas. Hannity guessed. The agency that's supposed to oversee this type of intrusion, this type of Trojan malware virus that affects the nation or even the world in this case, and to find them. Well, his agency was asleep. They didn't find that. They were out in the wild since March. I do have a bit of breaking news for you here, Sean. I'm here in Texas. I have a good friend who's a ranger who passed to me that the FBI, the Texas Rangers, and the U.S. Marshals are all at the SolarWinds headquarters in Austin, Texas, and they are currently looking. For the record, we have been looking for more information on this so-called raid and contacted friends in Austin but have not yet confirmed the incident. Very seriously at the systems, there is other news that will be coming out about the CEO and Executive Vice President as well. So we can't confirm the raid yet, but we'll see. But I found some interesting, well, let's see, what does this say here? Krebs on Security reported on the attack, and a security advisory Austin, Texas-based SolarWinds acknowledged its systems, quote, experienced a highly sophisticated manual supply chain attack on SolarWinds Orion platform. Software builds for versions 2019.4. Released between March 2020 and June 2020. In response to the intrusions at Treasury and Commerce, the Department of Homeland Security's CISA agency took the unusual step of issuing this emergency directive. So they're going to power it down, but what I don't think a lot of people understand is there's two other things to the story that are real interesting, right? The director of SolarWinds was sold $45.7 million in stock options last week before the CISA announcement of Sunday. Now, did someone inform him in the government? Was he given inside information and used that information to enrich himself by getting out of the stock before it started to tank? We don't know that yet, but it's appearing that way. CISA reported a breach of SolarWinds Orion products. The emergency directive called on all federal agencies to disconnect. So let's see. Looks like this guy took a little profit out, right? Now comes news that SolarWinds company director Aurora Company Investment LP SLP sold 2,079,823 shares of the business's stock in a transaction last Monday, December the 7th, via the Riverton Roll. SolarWinds Company NYSE SWI Director Aurora Company Invest LP sold 2 million shares, 79,823 shares of the business's stock in a transaction on Monday, December the 7th. Shares were sold at an average price of $21.97 for a total value of $45,693,711. I checked their stock price is now down to, I think it's down to like $19 a share, $19.31. So that's nice. Got out at 21 something, huh? Right before it started tanking back down. It's a nice little move, huh? Shares of SWI opened at $23.55 Friday. SolarWinds 12-month low of 11. So between what was that? Let me look at that chart. Looks like they doubled up within the year, and then they pulled back down. Let's pull up a year chart. Let's see what they did. Yeah, you could see like back down here, right? March 20th, right around the time that the virus was starting to come out, right? Or was that the 19th? I lost my years. I've been locked up so long I can't remember how long I've been locked up. Yeah, earlier this year. It was at 12. So I had a nice little run up to 20s. Came up over 23, and then boom. Bottom fell out on you. So that's that. Somebody was bailing out. Some big time people. Somebody got the message early that this was coming, and they bailed out. So that's that. Just wanted to show that somebody was selling out. I don't know if that was the CEO or not. I'm assuming it was somebody high up that had information that others didn't have. Here's the other bigger problem here. SolarWinds federal footprint, and this is from FedScoop. I don't know this site, but I just found this article kind of interesting title. SolarWinds federal footprint is large, and compromise is a nightmare scenario. According to this, at least 32 federal agencies are using this software, from what I could tell. Federal agencies face the most urgent kind of deadline. They were given until noon Washington time to respond to a compromise by foreign hackers in a sensitive piece network management software. Emergency directive from CISA ordered all agencies using SolarWinds to disconnect or power down the company's Orion software. Orion is the framework tying all of those things together and helping system and network managers understand what's going on. At least 32 federal agencies bought SolarWinds Orion software since 2006, according to a preliminary search of the Federal Procurement Data System Next Generation, conducted by the Pulse of GovCon, a boutique market intelligence firm. That footprint made Orion an attractive target to foreign spies who used the company's updating system to push out malware that allowed them to break into the Departments of Commerce, Homeland Security, and the Treasury. The attacks on the federal software supply chain are part of a campaign staged by Russian hacking group APT-29 or Cozy Bear on behalf of the SVR, the Washington Post first reported. So they're saying it's Russia again. Meanwhile, who has the most... if you look, China and North Korea are two countries that have some of the most sophisticated hack teams in the world. North Korea actually literally trains people from a young age to be hackers in teams. So I'm not sure this is actually Russia. I'm thinking it's more China. But that's just my opinion. Many more agencies could be affected, but those were 3 confirmed by multiple media organizations as of Monday. It's almost a nightmare scenario when you think about it, because these are tools that people put into the most sensitive parts of their network, the network management centers, to help them understand what's going on with everything from the Wi-Fi switch in the conference room to the server that might have the most sensitive data at the agency, said a retired senior government official who has not to be identified to speak freely about the compromise. And the adversary has essentially had a conduit to push malware to bypass the firewalls and all the other normal security checks, and could potentially have moved anywhere in the infrastructure from there, the former official said. Public assessment of SolarWinds' full federal footprint remains difficult, however, in part because 48 different resellers were awarded some of the 204 known federal contracts for Orion products since 2006. The likelihood FPDS-NG has not recorded all such transactions is high. Adding to the challenge CISA has of assessing the damage is the fact the Orion vulnerability has been used to deploy malware inside agency networks since March, according to federal officials. The compromise of SolarWinds Orion network management products poses unacceptable risk to the security of federal networks, said Brandon Wales, acting director of CISA, in a statement. Tonight's directive is intended to mitigate potential compromises within federal civilian networks, and we urge all our partners in the public and private sectors to assess their exposure to this compromise and to secure their networks against any exploitation. CISA's emergency directive locks down federal networks, but the next steps will be to look for signs of penetration, identity malware eradicated, and potentially fix security configurations that were compromised. U.S. Cyber Command, which has more mature processes and more experienced cyber protection teams in place for doing such things, is likely coordinating with CISA, the retired official said. Any agencies that choose to cut ties with SolarWinds over this incident will need to replace the infrastructure they're losing. The cleanup from this could be going on for months and could cost millions of dollars. The retired official said a bunch of days have been ruined here. That's for sure. There's going to be a lot of IT guys who are going to be working overtime for months to deal with this. That number is extensive if contract awards for SolarWinds Orion products on FPDSNG are any indicator. Due to the limitations of these procurement systems and their classification procedures, we can assume that this is the floor, not the ceiling, Pulse spokesman wrote FedScoop. Since 2006, contracts for SolarWinds Orion products have been awarded by the Bureaus of Land Management, Ocean Energy Management, and Safety and Environmental Enforcement, as well as the National Park Service and Office of Policy, Budget, and Administration within the Department of the Interior, Air Force, Army, Defense Logistics Agency, Defense Threat Reduction Agency, and Navy within the Department of Defense, Department of Energy, Department Administration and Farm Service Agency within the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Federal Acquisition Service within the General Services Administration, FBI within the Department of Justice, Federal Highway Administration and Immediate Office of the Secretary within the Department of Transportation, Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, Transportation Security Administration, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and Office of Procurement Operations within the Department of Homeland Security, the FDA, National Institute of Health and Office of the Assistant Secretary for Administration within the Department of Health and Human Services, IRS and Office of the Comptroller of the Currency within the Department of the Treasury, NASA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, National Science Foundation, Peace Corps, State Department, Department of Veterans Affairs. Holy cow, this is a huge problem. I mean, you got NASA in there, you got you got military. While all these agencies bought SolarWinds Orion products, that doesn't necessarily mean they were still using them between March and June, when the company suspects the vulnerability was introduced during updates. Agencies that have ongoing contracts for SolarWinds Orion products include the Army, DOE, FLETC, ICE, IRS, and Virginia, Veterans Affairs, sorry. SolarWinds estimated that of the 33,000 Orion customers in active maintenance during the relevant period, fewer than 18,000 installed products with their vulnerability in a report it made to the Securities and Exchange Commission about the cyber attack. That's a really well done article, but you could see if all these agencies are still using this, or even some of them, we have a massive problem. We've been hugely impacted here, it appears to me. Now the question's going to be, did Trump have military intelligence watching this the whole time? They have more sophisticated tools than we know about, right? So my guess is they knew about this, and hopefully they neutralized it before it became an issue, and maybe they watched them do it so that they would implicate themselves. And we don't know that yet, but we have to wait and see. So I just wanted to cover that. I was trying to look for some stuff, more background on SolarWinds. A Virginia Award, SolarWinds Orion Software Maintenance and Technical Support Staff. Veterans Affairs, this is August 25th, 2020. Veterans Affairs just awarded a 3-year, $3 million task for SolarWinds Orion Software Maintenance and Technical Support. I mean, this is the Veterans Affairs Department. That's a lot of people's names and information in there. I mean, you don't know who's looking for this stuff. There could be a lot of information within this system, right? I also found this from June 4th, 2013. DLT Solutions, a leading value-added reseller in government information tech, hardware, software, and services, today announced that it was awarded a DoD Enterprise Software Initiative blanket purchase agreement for IT asset management software for the suite of products offered by SolarWinds, leading provider of powerful and affordable IT management software. So they've been getting a lot of, this is 2013, and you can see that we've been using this product in some agencies since at least 2006. that means that this thing has been in there for 14 years. And, who knows how long the Chinese have had this, who knows if there's back doors in it, right? We don't know how long this thing's been compromised for. Started to see this just real quick. Majority in new polls support allowing authorities to require proof of citizenship for voting. So I think from this incident with the election being, possibly it looks like it's tainted, right? Looks like it's tainted beyond repair at this point, but we'll have to see how that all plays out. Huge data leak. I was looking for the Chinese Communist Party list, and now I can't really find it anywhere. I downloaded it though. But I just noticed that there was no links in many of these articles to the actual list itself, which I don't understand. But the Sky News article, we'll see what the fallout of that is, right? I mean, you see all these people in these different companies. We don't know how far we've been infiltrated yet. I mean, there's been people talking about us being infiltrated by China for decades, and you can see by now that really nobody cared to listen because they were allowing it to happen. It was part of the plan. That's what I don't think a lot of people are really understanding yet. And I didn't even get that until much later. Yeah, SolarWinds down a little bit, 1931. Okay, see what that does. I'm assuming that stock's going to go into the toilet. SolarWinds IT software compromised by hackers, FireEye says. So, just some more SolarWinds stuff. Thought this article was kind of weird. Obama trolls President Trump over birther issue. I was able to get away with not being born in the United States. I'm always have wondered, is that going to ever come out? Like is his real birth certificate ever going to be seen? Is he actually not a U.S. citizen, or is he a U.S. citizen? And that's kind of been up there. If you remember, his brother posted his birth certificate, I think from Kenya, where he's from. So, what's the real birth certificate, right? And his brother's a Trump supporter, which I find strange and also amusing. New acting Attorney General Jeff Rosen recently wrote an essay on foreign influence in U.S. elections. This tells us a little bit about his knowledge of what's going on. Not much else going on right now, guys. It's early in the morning here. SolarWinds seems to be the big story right now. They raided the headquarters, and we're going to get some more news soon. We haven't been able to confirm that raid took place yet, but we'll have to wait and get some more information. So I guess I won't entitle this SolarWinds raided, but what I could entitle it is that 32 different agencies have used this. I want to find that, because I find that's a statistic that's unbelievable. If that's true, right? It's a lot of different things are using this, right? All right, friends. Sorry to go all over with you today, but that's where we are right now. We're going to see that hand recount signature audit in Georgia is going to happen. It's going to take 2 weeks. Now we have dueling electors in a bunch of different states, if you notice, like Arizona, Georgia sent electors and they voted for Trump. And I showed you that the Michigan electors were held back from entering the state courthouse there, where they were doing the votes casting for the electors. They were in Michigan. They weren't allowed inside. So we'll have to see how all this stuff plays out, guys. Keep an eye on this SolarWinds, and we'll have to see how deeply penetrated our whole infrastructure is. Because I'm assuming the next 4 days or the next week or two, they'll be able to give us more information on that. So with that, friends, I wish you a nice day, and if there's any more breaking news, we'll bring it to you as fast as we can. This is a one-man operation here at We Are the News, and my name's Ash, and I'm the man doing it for right now. So with that, friends, I wish you a great day, and this is Ash signing off for now.